All right. This time I pressed the right button. Hello, if you are new to my corner of the internet, I am Liz, business coach, woman of color. And for the second time, we're going to try this again. I am going to talk about what you should be doing in your marketing to help bring in new business, especially if you have a social enterprise or a business that focuses on providing big impact. So I did try to go live at 2, but due to technical difficulties, we have pushed this to 4:30. And so for whoever you are, the one who manifested a later start time, your prayers have been answered. So let's get started. So when you're thinking about marketing, here is an easy, simple way to think about what to put in your content to speak to your people and also simultaneously help bring in more sales into your business. Here it is. When you're creating content, tell your potential clients, tell your community everything they need to know to get results without you. I know. It might sound strange. It might sound counterintuitive. It might even sound far too simple. But this is the easiest way to do authentic marketing, to not have to worry about, oh, I should only tell them the what and the why, but not the how. So you don't have to worry about giving away too much. You don't have to worry about marketing with sleazy, manipulative tactics that don't feel authentic to you. Just when you create your marketing, especially for social media, just tell them everything they need to know to get results without you. Just, it's as simple as that. And there are a few main reasons why this has been such an effective approach for me and my clients. For one, when you're able to not have to think about what to say and how to say it, and you can literally just say what it is that comes to you in the moment and deeply serve someone in that moment, it's so much easier. It becomes so much easier to create authentic content. Literally, your content creation moves from taking you hours to do to less than 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes. It makes the process of building your business and being sustainable so much more effective, so much more sustainable, so much easier. So that's one reason. Another reason is that it is impossible to give too much away in your content. Right now, especially in this capitalist space, especially in this online business space, there is an inherent scarcity built in where there is a fear that if you give people too much, then they won't have a reason to work with you. And that's inherently not true, especially if you are a coach, consultant, course creator, anything like that. I would even say that this approach also works if you're selling a product. But knowledge can only do so much. I mean, think about it. We're living in an age where we have literally had, there's never been a time where we have had more information than what we have right now. And yet still, people find it difficult to be able to achieve the results that they're looking to achieve, to be able to make the changes that they want to change, to do what they want to do. And it's not because of a lack of information necessarily. What it really is a lack of information that meets them where they are. So your brain and your potential client's brain are two completely different brains. Like, you are not the same people. So it does not matter how many, new ideas you come up with or how fancy your intellectual property is. There will always be a gap because your brain is not their brain. Your lived experience is not their lived experience. You are working from hindsight that they do not yet have. So there will always be a gap. And that's really where your actual service and support comes in. So it is impossible to give them too much information, because even if you could give them everything there would still be a gap. There are so many things that even myself, for instance, have heard people say time and time again, but it wasn't until I was able to connect the pieces and the dots in my own brain for myself that I was able to actually finally understand it, where it finally clicked for me. And this is something that's really missing in all these, coaching programs, all these group coaching programs, all these courses and things like that. Like, that's what's really missing, is like people are giving information dumps, but they're not actually meeting them where they are to help them connect the dots themselves. And that's why we have an abundance of programs, but we do not have an abundance of people that are achieving the results that they came to those programs to achieve. So know that it is impossible to give away too much. Give it all away. Give everything away, plus the bathroom sink. Give it all away. And by giving it all away, it also does a few other things too. It helps create more trust between you and your community, the people you're trying to serve, because they get to clearly see what your approach is, what your philosophies are, where you're coming from, how you think, how you do things. It lets them know what they're getting into before they actually join with you. So they know, and there are no surprises. So for instance, I often talk in my marketing about the effects of capitalism and white supremacy culture on our entire lives, and especially on our businesses. If I did not talk about that, then someone who would sign up to work with me might be very surprised when they get in there and realize that we talk about that stuff, right? So it really does help to build trust and connection with your people, because they get to see who you are. And then by also seeing like where your thoughts come from through your experience, it's also sharing a part of you as well, like even a bit of like a vulnerable piece, because you're stating clearly and definitively, like, this is what I stand for, and this is what I do not stand for, and this is why. So that further builds connection. So that helps to attract the people who would be a great fit with you, people who you love to work with and know that you would be able to help them. So that's another helpful reason as to why it's impossible to give too much in your marketing. Give it all away. Just give it all away. And some people even say, hey, well, if you give it all away, then there are people who can just get results from your marketing. And then that's amazing for you, because then they will want to work with you, or they'll tell people about you. And that is true. I do agree with that concept. However, I do believe that that is the exception and not the rule. It is the exception that someone will look at your marketing, study your marketing, and be able to put together a plan that works for them, and then go off running with it and achieve these major results. Like, if and when someone does that, like, all the props to them, because that is definitely out of the ordinary. But for everyone else who aren't doing that, who don't have, the time or really like the spaciousness to do that right now, like, they're going to want some extra help. They're going to want someone to help them connect those dots, because honestly, they haven't been able to do it already. So they're going to want that extra help. And by you like showing them like truly like where you stand, like what you stand for, what your process looks like, that makes it so much easier for them to know that your program is a good fit for them. And so then when you do work together, a bulk of the work won't just be on reteaching concepts that you've already gone over in your marketing. It'll actually be focused more on helping figure out where the client is, and then helping them to make those shifts that they need to make to be able to really embody the things that they've heard. Yeah. So yeah, if you're struggling with your marketing, just think simply, what can I tell the people I want to work with? What can I tell them that would help them get results without me? And it's as simple as that. And I always have to mention this, especially when I talk about marketing, because it really is what I firmly believe is the number one reason why people aren't bringing in any income, even though they might be creating content on a very regular, very consistent basis, maybe even for years, and still not hitting income goals. Make sure you always, always, always add an offer at the end of your marketing. Always. And I'll tell you why. Adding an offer at the end of your marketing, whether you're on social media, whether you're doing email lists, whatever you may be doing, it is the equivalent of flipping over your open for business sign on a brick and mortar business. What I find is that oftentimes folks are trying so hard to dive deep into their marketing to try and figure out all the different intricacies that can exist there. How can I say this in a separate way and connect it to this situation, and then bring in this testimonial and this client aha moment and just wrap it together in this amazing package of just amazing content that'll just blow someone's mind and show them possibility. They do all that, but then they don't add an offer at the end of that piece of content. And it can seem too simple. It can almost seem like this cannot possibly be the only reason why I'm not hitting my income goals or I'm not bringing in income. It can seem too simple. I know, especially as like women of color, we have just been conditioned our whole lives to just try our best to be completely excellent and above board and strive for perfection, not because we want to, but because that's where safety is. Like, we spend our entire lives from school to work and beyond under the scrutiny of a microscope, that we learn that doing it the absolute right way is how we can achieve safety, like literal safety in our body, in our bones. And so just the idea of, oh, the only thing that I'm missing to create a thriving income is to add an offer at the end of my content, it can seem far too simple, but I assure you, it is that simple. It makes the difference. I think there's like this statistic, and you can Google it, where the difference between a landing page, like a website that does not have a call to action button, so a button that says, click here to buy or click here to learn more, whatever. The difference between a site that doesn't have that and the site that does have that is 80% higher conversion rate. 80%. Just having one single call to action makes the difference. So your offer does not have to be anything super fancy or spectacular. It is literally as simple as click here, click the link in my bio to book a sales call. It's as simple as click here to learn more. Click the link in my bio to register for this workshop. Click the link in the description box to do X, Y, and Z. Like, literally, you just have to tell people where to go and what to do after they have read and enjoyed your content. And if you want to be extra fancy, add Y. Click here and sign up for this if you want to X, Y, and Z. If you want to experience this new thing, then click here. Like, it really does not have to be super fancy. It's just simply telling people what to do next after they've enjoyed your amazing content. And I know you do amazing content because I see so many incredible services out there that are doing everything from deconditioning people from capitalism and white supremacy culture to completely changing their lives in so many different ways. Like, life-changing services that are not being utilized because there is no offer at the end. I know it seems too simple. It seems like that cannot be the only reason. Like, there has to be a strategy or a tool or something that I'm missing that'll make the difference for me and have the sales come flooding in. But it's not. It's as simple as just doing the repetitive, boring thing of just literally adding an offer at the end of every piece of content. Think of your offer as your signature line from now on, making sure that you always add it so that people always know and remember that you are an entrepreneur, that you provide a service, that you can actually help them. Think of it this way. Here's another way to kind of think about it. Imagine, if you will, you own a bakery. I love baked goods, so this is where we're gonna go with this. Feel free to substitute baked goods for whatever tickles your fancy. But imagine you own a bakery, right? And you just bake like the most amazing cupcakes or cakes, pies, whatever cookies in the world, the best in the whole world. But no one's coming in to buy. And you're wondering, well, how come no one's coming in to buy any of these world renowned famous cupcakes? And the open sign on your front door is flipped to closed. Most people, when they're going out and about in the world and they see a business establishment and they see a sign that says closed, they don't open it. They don't try to open the door. They don't knock. They don't try to shake the door open. They just assume, oh, they're closed today. And they keep on walking. In the social media space and in the email list as well, you are assumed to be a closed business until you say you are open. The assumption is you are closed, or your program is filled, or you're not, offering that service anymore until you say, actually, I'm accepting one-on-ones, or I'm accepting spots into my group program or into my course or whatever it is that you're offering. Like, that is the difference. And people have to see things so many times. We'll talk about this next week, but people do need repetition. They need to be reminded what it is that you do and that you're still open for business. Okay. So make sure that when you are done completing all of these amazing pieces of content where you are telling your people everything they need to know to achieve a result, that at the end, you're always adding the offer, reminding them where to go to work with you. It goes hand in hand. It has to go hand in hand. So I hope you found that helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Drop them in the comments box below, or feel free to check me out on Instagram. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions. But yeah, it's as simple as that. Just give it all away. Give it all absolutely away. And remember to add an offer at the end as well. All right. Take care.